Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host Jose Rocks, and today we just got our new update. Well, not update, but pretty much an announcement. Well, they did make some things come out after the presents, but we pretty much got our announcement. So we're gonna be going over some of the new recently revealed Pokemon, as well as some of the move sets that I think could be good on some of them. And this is pretty much based off the presents that aired this morning. So pretty much we have these two DLCs coming. We did get a release date, which is gonna be September 13th for the first part of the DLC. So it won't be this one. It'll be the Teal Mask. So that's the first one that we're gonna get. So we did get some new Pokemon. So I kind of want to go over them. Just look at Cerebi. We'll just go right here to the new Pokemon page list. So we already know about Munkidori, Okidori, Pheasantipiti, and then Ogerpon. We already know about those coming, but here are the new ones. We have 4 new ones. Ogerpon's been here. Terapagos, we actually found out that this isn't a pre-evolution, but this is a form. So this is this form whenever it terrestrializes. I guess it turns into that, depending on what you terrestrialize into. Maybe this color will be on all of them. I'm not sure how that's going to look. But they're the same Pokemon. This isn't a pre-evolution. So this is just the normal Pokemon, right? Ogerpon is one of the legendary that's going to be in the Teal Mask. But these are our 4 new Pokemon. Iron Crown, which is a Paradox Pokemon from the future. Raging Bolt, which is a Paradox Pokemon from the past. We have Archaludon. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it's an evolution of Duraludon, right? So I guess Archaludon? Let me know in the comments if you guys know how to pronounce this new Pokemon name. I don't know what it is, but for now, we're just going to call it Archaludon, right? Or Archaludon. I don't know which one sounds better. Archaludon. I like Archaludon. And then Dipplin. So this is an evolved form of one of those apple-type dragons. It's actually not an evolution of it. It's like a side evolution. So if we want to go see, let's check Appleton. So it's an evolved form of Applin, right? So you have Appleton, and then you have Flapple, and now you have the new one that evolves from Applin. So it doesn't evolve from these two, which I wish it did, because it would have a lot higher base stats, and then also you can use these with like Eviolite, right, to make these a little bit more viable. But it's actually like a third form. So think of it kind of similar to the Hitmo top line with like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. You know how all 3 of those come from Tyrangu. So these come from Applin. Forgive me if I butchered that thing's name. I haven't said his name in a long time. So that's the new Pokemon. So I do want to kind of get into some of these. Going over these two. So they actually don't have movesets yet. It's probably because they're so new. So let's see, where were they listed at? They're not listed there. Where were they listed at? So not listed there either. All right, so they don't have too much listing on these two. But they don't have any movesets for them. But so these are going to be 2 of the new Pokemon. Looks like they come out in the hidden treasure part of the DLCs. So they're going to go along with the Paradox Virizion and Paradox Suicune. And we don't really know their stats, but I assume their stats are going to be like relatively similar to the Iron Leaves and the Walking Wake. And I believe, this is going to work well in Sun. And it's going to probably get a signature move that's really good in the Sun, like an electric move that works in the Sun. And then this is gonna probably get a good move that works on electric terrain. If I had to guess their typings, based off Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, they kept the grass typing from their original form and the water typing, and they added dragon and psychic, right? So maybe if they keep the psychic and the dragon, this will be dragon and electric, and this will be psychic and steel. Or psychic and fighting, which would be like, a Gallade typing, similar to that. That's just my opinion. It looks like it could be electric and steel. I don't know if they're going to keep the same typings, but if they all get like that new secondary typing, like this looked like it could be like a dragon, even though it's like shaped like a giraffe. I can see it like being like a dragon giraffe, just how it is. But that's just my guess. If I don't really think this will be psychic and fighting. I think it'll be steel and electric. Just based off like how it looks. But I guess we'll see. The only reason that it might not be electric is because this one's name is Raging Bolt. So it's most likely gonna be electric, or they really like bring two electric at the same time. I'm not sure. But this also pretty much confirms that we will be getting a Paradox Entei and Terrakion, which will probably be announced closer to the release date of the second DLC, right? And then we'll probably be able to play with all 6 of them in ranked at once. They'll probably all be released and be able to be unbanned at the same time, right? And I'm hoping it's before the restricted format, right? So that we actually have a chance to see like them play well in a format that's not dominated by restricteds. Because if they come out with the restricteds, then they're just going to be pretty much overlooked by the sheer power of the restricteds coming into the format. So like I said, those don't really have anything. They haven't listed anything about them yet. So we are going to get into some of the ones that are listed on here. So we're going to go to the Pokemon list, to the roster, and scroll down. And you see they have Dipplin and Archaludon on here. So we're going to start with Dipplin, right? Because I think it's the least interesting of the two. I think that it can be viable, but it's going to be niche. This Pokemon is, it's already pretty much set to be a support Pokemon based off its ability and its signature move. I don't really think it's going to be a sweeper. It doesn't look like it's powerful enough to be a sweeper, or like it'll deal. It looks like it'll probably be like a Focus Sash, probably a little bit faster than Appleton and Flapple, but maybe a little bit more special attack than them. But it's probably going to be like, a very fast Focus Sash support Pokemon, right? So Dipplin, what does it do? It's like a candy apple. It has the new move Syrup Bomb. So this move is kind of new. I don't think we have anything that's close to this. I guess the only thing similar to it is like Octalock, that locks you in and continues to drop your defense and special defense. And it's like a signature move by like Grapple Lock, right? But other than that, I don't know if this locks you in, but this move drops your speed every turn. So just think, if you use this move, if this is a fast Pokemon, you could protect your teammate and then drop the speed at the end of the turn. And then it's kind of like an Icy Wind, right? But I guess Icy Wind would just be better, right? Because you get the immediate speed drop. Whereas you have to kind of protect around this to get it to drop 3 turns. But I'm pretty sure it'll have a niche based on just having that effect and just having like... So basically, the appeal from this Pokemon is his ability, right? But just having this move on it can make it a little more useful, because you're actually going to be using this Pokemon for its ability and not a signature move. But having a signature move plus the ability makes it like, okay, what else will we run? Might as well run that and, get some speed drops here and there. But its abilities, Super Sweet Syrup, is really cool. So when this is on the field, it lowers the evasiveness of the opposing Pokemon. Not your Pokemon, but your opponent's, right? And immediately when I think about that, what comes to mind is just like Palkia. When we think about restricteds, Groudon. And Groudon, it's known for like loving to play with Pokemon that are not like legendary. Like just think of like in Series 13, it wanted to play, what's the Pokemon's name? The electric psychic type. I forget his name.
Here's some music from your Apple Music library.
Oh, I don't know why that's playing. What's this? What was his name? The Victory Pokemon. I forgot what his name was. I know his typing is electric and psychic. That's not even on here. If you remember his name, leave it in the comments. It's the Victory Pokemon, but pretty much it raises your evasionness, not your evasion. It raises your accuracy on any other Pokemon that are on your side of the field, right? So this kind of does something similar, but instead of raising your accuracy, it lowers the evasiveness of the opponent's Pokemon, which makes them easier to hit, right? So just think of things like also like outside of legendary Pokemon. Of course, you can put Kyogre in there, but Kyogre likes to click Water Spout. But I guess if you're clicking Origin Pulse, then you'll like to have Appleton next to it. But I'm thinking of like Landorus. Landorus Eye. Both Landorus are Rock Slide, but this one specifically with the Sand Shear, right? And then you have any of the genies with their new moves, right? But also Enamorous. Now Enamorous kind of suffers more so than the other ones because its move, Springtide Storm, for some reason is not 100% accurate in the rain like the other ones are, right? And due to that, it's kind of hard to run this move over Moonblast, even though it hits both because it's so likely to miss. But now you can run Dipplin next to it, right? And now while you have a super ice weakness with both of them, like Blizzard Spam, you have Terra to get around stuff like that. But if you don't want to Terra, then you just, you have a powerful Springtide Storm that's pretty much hitting it, right? Now you can run like Scarf on this, and then you can use, the signature move from this to like drop speed to make Enamorous be able to be faster than a lot of your opponent's Pokemon. And I can see it like being like a pretty, gimmicky, maybe not gimmicky, but niche strategy in order to just make your opponents, less likely to dodge your attacks. So that's pretty much the idea behind Dipplin. I don't really see too much use from it outside of that. I do think it'll be a little bit gimmicky and have like some niche situations. But like I said, it's been Pokemon that's played next to other ones that, like, just think of Brambleghast, right? That's like a Pokemon we thought won't really be that good because of the stats, but let alone it has a good matchup into the current meta right now, right? So, this thing about like that. Also, it's another Pokemon that Groudon used to play with that this kind of reminds me of. I can't remember its name either. Like, it's been so long, I'd be forgetting them if they're not currently in the game. But it was a grass type Pokemon that used to have his ability activated in the sun. It's not in the game anymore though, but it was in Sword and Shield. What was his name? It should be on this list, right? Here it is, Cherim. So just think of Cherim. Like, people really didn't think Cherim was a good Pokemon, but its ability, like, being activated by being in the sun and giving like Groudon like, a Spadef boost and an attack boost, kind of made like Groudon just that much more powerful, right? And that much more bulky and able to do well into like a lot of teams that aren't ready for sun. And that's just, Groudon playing alongside, a Pokemon that's pretty, niche and bad. It's like you really would never use this Pokemon outside of using it next to Groudon, right? You wouldn't even use it next to Torkoal because the attack and the Spadef boost is just not worth it because Torkoal is so slow. So it literally only works with Groudon, right? And that's the same thing like with this Pokemon. They might have a couple more partners, but you're definitely going to see this. And that Pokemon name is Victini. That's what the name was, Victini. Yeah, its name is Victini. But it's a mythical Pokemon. It's only available in Series 13 when they just let everything be available. And it was really good next to Groudon, allowing it to hit Precipice Blaze a lot easier. So going back, I want to get into the one that I'm personally going to be building a team around first. And I think it's really cool. So this is Archaludon, however you want to pronounce it. They haven't officially revealed how to pronounce his name. But so this Pokemon it's like a bridge, like it lets down. To me, it kind of looks like one of those clip things that you use on paper that you get from like Staples and stuff. It's what you use to like take staples out of paper, if you know what I'm talking about. It's like the bougie way to remove staples from paper if you don't want to just pull them out with your hands. But that's pretty much what its purpose is. That's what it looks like to me. But it's actually a bridge, and you see it's like a folding bridge. You know those bridges that open up, they're already up, and then as like when the ship goes under it, it's like this, and then when the ship goes past, it closes back down. So that's pretty much what this is. It also looks like a grasshopper when it's like this to me. But that's pretty much what it is. It's like a raisin bridge. And like Duraludon was like, a tall building. So I guess the idea is that these Pokemon are based off, like buildings and stuff, like human-made stuff. But it's a really cool Pokemon. Its typing is still Dragon, but it clearly is going to have like some electric type, traits to it. But the thing about it is, it says its two abilities are Stamina and Sturdy. So we're going to get into those. But one thing that I am seeing is that, Duraludon has the ability Stalwart. Now, it hasn't been revealed what this thing's hidden ability is going to be. But I think it can be, just guessing, it can be two things. It can be Stalwart. Of course, they can completely go a different direction from both of these, right? But the first one could be Stalwart. and it just be a hidden ability that's passed up from Duraludon, which will make this thing incredible, right? That's an incredibly good ability that gives you like counterplay to like Indeedee and Mousehold Follow Me, like Pachirisu. Like, you know how Rage Powder is not affected by safety goggles or being a grass type? Just think, and you like, okay, so we can stop Rage Powder like that, but how do we stop Follow Me, right? There's no real counterplay for it. You just have to deal with it or KO the Pokemon that does it. Duraludon's ability allows you to ignore any redirection, right? So it can't be redirected, so it'll always hit the target that you click no matter what. So that's really clutch. And it also was like an ally switch counter, because if you didn't know before, if you've only been playing, Pokemon since Sword and Shield competitively, Scarlet and Violet competitively, and Sword and Shield ally switch didn't have a cooldown timer. So your opponent was literally able to click ally switch as much as they wanted without it failing, right? So Duraludon was kind of a way to get around ally switch, because even if you ally switch Duraludon with the Stalwart ability, it will follow whatever Pokemon you click. So if they were in the left slot and they ally switch to the right slot, then Duraludon is going to target his move to the right slot. He's going to follow whatever it is that you click. And that's a really cool ability. The other ability that I think it can get is something similar to Steel Worker, right? From the one Pokemon that's Grass and Ghost. It gets a Steel ability that makes it have a third stab. I think it could get something similar to that, giving it an electric stab. And I think that can be pretty cool, because its signature move, Electro Shock, right? And this move is so cool, right? So this move is pretty much like Solar Beam and Meteor Beam put together. So you know how Solar Beam is are usually a 2-turn move, but in the Sun it's 1 turn. That's similar to this electric move, right? It's an electric type 2-turn move, but it's 1 turn in the rain. So it's actually another boost to rain. And we've already got a couple buffs to rain with the Genie's new moves to help them, plus the strong like Swift Swim Pokemon, right? But this is another Pokemon that's gonna like being played in the rain. But the other thing that makes it like Meteor Beam as well as Solar Beam is that when you use this move, you get a +1 boost. So just think, if you're not in the rain, you can put a Meteor Herb on this. Not Meteor Herb, Power Herb. And now you can get that +1 boost instantly and get your electric type attack off, right? So now you're already at +1 and you're dealing a lot of damage with the electric attack. Now, if it gets an ability that makes it get a third stab in electric, and then you tear it into electric and then use this move, this thing is going to be one shot and everything, right? Unless you have like a Raichu or a Thundurus with Volt Absorb, something to be immune to electric. Like, even things that resist it is just taking a lot of damage from this electric move. So you have the ability that gives you stab on electric. So you have 3 stabs, and then you terrestrialize into electric type, and then you use Electro Shot, and you get a +1 boost on your electric move, and then you can use it instantly with the Power Herb, or if you have Rain up. That's incredible, right? So you can play this. You can use the Power Herb and then still play this in Rain. So just in case your opponent has ways to remove the rain before you can attack, because that's kind of like the counterplay around Solar Beam, right? Even though Solar Beam is not that good, like, it can be turned off by them setting up another weather, and now you're stuck in a 2-turn move. With this, you can have the Power Herb still, so now you're not just reliant on the rain, but now you can get your +1 boost in the rain whenever you want, and then you can use the Power Herb whenever they try to take away your rain, which is, I think, is really cool option for this Pokemon, right, to make it strong. And so get into some of its abilities. Like I say, the first, like I gave you, what I think could be 2 of its abilities that it may get, and I'll be kind of disappointed if it doesn't get one of those, because I think Stalwart or having an ability that makes it get an electric stab are both powerful for it, but it can only have one because it already has these 2. So one of those would be cool. So I hope they don't go away from that. But these 2 abilities, Sturdy might be the worst ability, and that's saying a lot because Sturdy is a really good ability. So Sturdy is pretty much like a built-in Focus Sash, right? So now you don't have to run a Focus Sash just in the event that this thing is kind of frail. Like Duraludon was extremely frail on the special defense side, right? It was only like 50 base. What was it? 50 base. And the thing why you might have thought Duraludon wasn't as frail is because it was in a Dynamax format. And it was usually always a Dynamax target. So you used to put a Assault Vest on it. And that kind of helps out, this this they boost this defense up, and then plus Dynamax, which doubles your HP, and now you're pretty bulky on the special side if you invest a little bit into it, right? And you don't have to invest as much in the defense because you're already bulky. So that's why, you know, this Pokemon probably seemed a little more bulky than what it was. But the reason you never saw this pretty much after that is because of his extremely bad special defense stat and kind of low HP stat. Like, this thing, even by resisted moves, is kind of just getting one shot by a lot of powerful special attackers. And like I said, even resisted is easily two shotting you, and things that hit you for neutral or one shotting you, and that's never good. So you know you're not surviving. It's a tall task to ask this thing to survive a super effective attack, even with the assault vest, which will be like maybe a special type ground. And I guess one positive that it has, that ground and fighting types are its weakness, and those are usually physical type moves. But any special type variant of those moves, like an Earth Power, a Focus Blast, or something like that, and you're just getting wiped out, right? So hopefully, like, this fixes that. But even if it doesn't, you have the sturdy ability, so you can't just get one shot. So you can guarantee that you always get a move off if you don't get doubled up into. And depending on this speed stat, which will probably be faster than Duraludon, since, you know, it doesn't look as heavy as Duraludon. I think it might be faster. Then you have a lot of chances to, you know, get strong moves off. But that's pretty much the idea behind sturdy. Now, stamina is going to be depending on what its hidden ability is. If its hidden ability is not good, then stamina is going to be probably the go-to ability on this Pokemon. And think of a Pokemon like Mudsdale, right? Mudsdale has this ability, stamina. But Mudsdale is like, you know, it's really, I mean, it has base 125 attack. But even with that, like, you have to invest a lot in its defenses to make it bulky so that the stamina ability really works. And doing that kind of makes it passive. Plus, you're, like, extremely slow. You have to be on the Trick Room. Then you're getting hit first. So even though you're getting no stamina boost and you want to get hit, like, you're not taking a lot of hits like you should. And I think it can be better with terrestrialization now, but I really haven't seen it explored that much as it could be. And I know that a lot of the things is that it's just prone to being intimidated, and it's forced to, like, being in Trick Room, right? So it's a lot of easy counterplay that's, like, built into people's teams to deal with Pokemon like this. But now this Pokemon, it kind of takes, like, and Duraludon got iron defense and body press, right? So you have that set. But what I kind of like about this is that with stamina and you being, like, a more offensive special type attacker, you don't really need to have, like, run a physical set, but you can have body press and then go for, like, still keep your special attacks. So you're not, like, prone to, like, being intimidated. But now you can play both modes. And now with stamina, think of this like, instead of waiting for your opponent to hit you, you can be more aggressive and hit yourself, right? So let's think of any, like, beat up users like Mousehold, anything with a beat up. So let's take some of these Pokemon away. We're gonna clear this list, and we're gonna pull up some beat up users. All right, so you have Mousehold. It's funny that Nalate gets beat up, and it's the one that usually taking the beat ups. So you have beat up. You have, like, Mousehold. You have Farigiraf. It's pretty much all you're going to be using. I've seen some people try Bramogast before, but it's pretty much Mousehold and Farigiraf, so you can play a Trick Room depending on how fast it is. But now you can go for beat up, and similar to, like, how Annihilate played, now you can simply play this Pokemon, you know, as a beat up bot. So you're going to hit it with the beat up, give it those defense boosts, and now you have an offensive body press. Now, offensive body press is really cool, right? Because how Iron Defense body press usually plays is that the Pokemon is relatively passive. Think of, like, Hisuian Gudra or, like, Configuraf or this, what else? I can't really, it's so many Pokemon that get, you know, Iron Defense beat up. Let me look at one of the common ones. Bronzong is one that's, you know, known for doing it. I don't really think anything else has been doing it in this format. I mean, you would think Avalok should be able to do it, but it's just not bulky enough, right? And then you got to think of who else gets iron defense to even go for that. Right. So none of these, I mean, you see Corviknight doing it. I've never seen Heatran do it. I've seen Glacier do it before. Right. And there's not really too much after that. And then Ferrothorn is not in the game. And Ferrothorn, well, Chestnut's one too. But Ferrothorn is one that's notorious for doing it, but it's currently not in the game. And Ferrothorn would be really good if it was in Scarlet and Violet right now. Due to like Urshifu running around the ladder, it's just like a hard check. But so Archaludon can do this without the iron defense. You don't have to put iron defense and take up a move slot to run that. And usually iron defense, those sets usually have leftovers, right? And they take up three move slots. So you have the body press, the iron defense, and then protect, and then leftovers. So that's 3 of your move slots and your item slot being taken up. Now with this set, you don't have to have, you know, iron defense or protect if you don't want it. And you don't have to run leftovers. You can just make this pretty offensive, and you can go for like fast beat up. And another thing that you can go for to make it even faster, a faster setup is what I'm interested in trying is Greninja. So Greninja gets access to Water Shuriken, which has priority, and you can give this a loaded dice. Right, and with loaded dice, now you're able to hit 4 to 5 times, and you could terrestrialize. I mean, you're pretty much neutral to that, but you could terrestrialize this to a water type, right, or whatever you want to resist or grass type to resist the Water Shuriken, and now you're getting +4, +5 stamina boost. And now you can immediately go for body press, right? And that's the thing about body press, why some people don't run it because it's passive. Now you have a aggressive body press, so you can go for it immediately, and you don't have to take, you know, 2-3 turns setting up iron defense to get all the way up to +6. Now you're immediately at +5, +4, and you can get those strong body presses off. And then next turn you'll definitely be at +6, right? And now you're hard to take down on the physical side, and then you can still run this with an assault vest, right? And now you're especially defensive. So like this thing just has, you know, so many different sets that it can run. And I do think Greninja might be like a low-key sleeper pick for this Pokemon that a lot of people probably weren't thinking about. When they see stamina, they probably immediately think beat up. But I think Water Shuriken might be a lot better because of the priority that it gets. And Greninja, like I've shown it on my channel, is actually still a good Pokemon on its own. And it's not just stuck to being beat up. I mean, well, Water Shuriken, with some of the Pokemon that you've seen it with like Sandygast and Annihilate. So other than that, that's pretty much the 4 Pokemon that got introduced today. So I apologize if this video is a little choppy. You know, I'm recording this off the top of my head, and just, you know, some of these sets that I put together are just popping in my head. But like, let me know with a comment below. Would you run the Power Herb set with this as well as the rain, or would you try to run like the stamina body press set, like aggressive body press? But you know, if you like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.